welcome to the fixture list. Stephen Howson, Joseph of Smith. England are in the next round.
Of course, always going to make it, weren't we?
After a win and a draw.
No, 2 wins and a draw.
No, we was in the next round after a win and a draw.
Yeah, but we can't underestimate that final win. We still had to get it done. We got it done.
I mean, we could have lost.
Yeah, but for confidence, for morale. People are already saying we didn't look good enough in the group stage. We got more points than Germany, more points than France, more points than Portugal.
Yeah, but Germany had to play France.
Yeah, we had to play Czech Republics. Wasn't easy.
Anyway, so you derailed me here now because I had all sorts of stuff I was going to be bringing into this, into the intro. So yeah, obviously last night we saw 2 belting games of football. The Germans against Hungary. Mm-hmm. How good is that kit, by the way? Debuting that kit.
Yeah, lovely.
Lovely. And then we saw France against Portugal. Well, it was just penalty shootout-tastic.
Yeah, it was good. Good game. That penalty on Mbappe, maybe the lightest penalty I've ever seen. Because that's the ones where, like, do you know, Ashley
he just fell over.
Where they like knock the ball past him and then stick the leg out across him. At least they've manufactured contact there. In the blink of an eye, no VAR. Back in the good old days, you could see why people gave them that. The defender literally just put his hand out to feel where Mbappe was. He's felt the contact and gone over. Like, I don't think I've ever seen such a bad penalty given. And then they checked it and said it was a penalty. How is that possible? Just literally the lightest of contact in upper body region. That's unbelievable, but it got the result that I reckon UEFA wanted, which is all 3 of those big teams going through. Because there's a point there where Hungary was second.
Like, we was literally joking about it because we was kind of talking about it going, well, who can we get? We was like, it's technically every team in that group we can draw.
Yeah.
And then, within the space of 5 minutes, it went from being Hungary to Portugal to the Germans.
To Germany, yeah. Because if France had beaten Portugal and Hungary had beaten Germany, not only would we have faced Hungary, but Portugal and Germany would have gone out on 3 points each. Like, imagine that. So, it ended up being with what UEFA wanted, what I'm sure a lot of German people wanted, which is play England and beat them again like they always do. But not this time, Steve.
What do you mean not this time?
Well, because we've got a better chance this time.
How, Joe?
So naive, Stephen, so naive. First of all, what wins tournaments at the biggest stage?
Germans.
No, not who, what. It is a good defence. It's not conceding goals. That's what wins it. In the past, we've gone for this, let's try and play football kind of football. At the moment, what we do is, we have a great attack, but what we do is we base it around not conceding. Spain did it.
We
Portugal
couldn't score against Scotland.
Germany did it. I know they scored 7 against Brazil, but other than that, their main basis was that. France did it. Greece did it. All of the best teams that win tournaments don't concede goals first. That's the main thing.
They parked the bus and hit teams on the counter. Yeah. Or ground out a result. Portugal mostly did that.
Yeah.
England just bore everyone. Is that what we're trying to do? Is this why you like Southgate? Because he's fucking boring.
No, I don't like him because he's boring. But I think boring is more successful in tournaments if you don't have the best team than expansive, expressive football.
Right, but you've got unbelievable attacking talent and you just refuse to use them and pick beige pish.
You say unbelievable attacking talent. It's no better than Portugal. It's no better than France. It's not, it's better than maybe Holland. It's not better than Belgium. It's not better than Germany. Like, we have got unbelievable attacking talent, but it's not the best in the world. And our midfield is average and our defence is pretty good. So it's not like we can just go...
No, the defence isn't pretty good. Man for man, it's ordinary.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Maguire's a pretty good player.
He's played 1 game.
Luke Shaw's a very good player. Kyle Walker is, I think a very good player who's proven it over 10 years.
2 out of them 3, the best aspects of those players are not defending.
No. But Kyle Walker's pretty good defensively. Harry Maguire's good defensively.
Harry Maguire is, yeah. Luke Shaw's worst aspects, this isn't saying he's terrible, but his worst traits are his defensive ones.
Unless he's...
Kyle Walker's similar.
But if Luke Shaw's playing deep, defensively he's quite good. It's when he's asked to attack and defend. But I don't think he'll do that against Germany. It might even play Trippier on that side. I just think the fact that we haven't conceded this tournament is a great foundation. Much better than, let's go out and win, let's go and smack Panama about, and then as soon as we face a team that can actually defend, we can't score and we're shit at defending.
I would have appreciated the tactical flexibility.
Yeah.
Because I think Southgate's in the job long enough to have been able to give the team the license to do that. Yes, you can turn up and you can roll through your qualifying sections and you can smack teams around. You're expected to do that.
Yeah.
But I've seen no evidence of them, apart from potentially the evidence that we are boring the piss out of people. Is that us practicing playing without the ball?
I think we've got a better chance of boring people and winning than exciting people and winning. Because we will come against a team that is more exciting and better.
100%.
Right.
But I haven't seen us be able or to demonstrate that we can soak up pressure and then explode on a counter. We don't do that.
We don't, but you can't have everything. And again, this team, the midfield of this team isn't good enough, I don't think, to get those transitions right.
Who is even playing predominantly in these games? Sterling, Foden, mainly. That's his jive,
Kane.
right? Yeah, and Kane. That's not your explosive, playing on the counter kind of players.
No. But then you've got Rashford to come on, who is the epitome of that,
Yeah,
arguably.
and Sancho is the epitome.
Sancho is very good at that as well. But we've got them available
and
to
I
us.
also, even though I think people are going to misconstrue this, but I'm not asked. Grealish is slow in possession.
Yeah, he likes to hold on to it for a long time, doesn't he?
He's not your ideal counter-attacking player, I don't think, which is why I think he'd probably suit City very well, be in possession all the time.
Yeah.
But we aren't playing our hit you on the break sort of players.
All right, then, let me ask you a question then.
By the way, I would play Grealish in a counter-attacking team, though, because the free kick takers is worth it alone.
Yeah. Let me ask you this.
/diving.
You don't think England is good enough to win against Germany?
No, I know England aren't good enough to
Okay. Why do you think Germany are good enough to beat us? Because they were poor against Hungary. They got, not battered, but turned over pretty, without too much problem against France. Yes, they were good against Portugal, but what makes you think they're so great?
Because I look at that midfield and I go, football's won in midfield, right?
Yeah.
I look at that midfield and I say it's better.
It is better than ours.
There you go.
But it's not just the best team that wins, is it?
No, it isn't, no. And it's the ones that are able to assimilate themselves into a team the best. And I think they've still got a lot of hangover of experience. Not tons of people that have won the World Cup. Muller, I think, was part of it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how many more of them were part of that, actually. But
No, yeah.
the fact that you've got World Cup winners in there, you've got very experienced pros.
Tony Kroos.
Who's England's equivalents of that?
The player in our team that's won the most trophies would be Kyle Walker, I guess. And then probably John Stones, because he played for City.
Strike me as leaders of this
No.
team, though, in a way that Muller does, in a way that Kroos does, in a way that Neuer does.
Yeah.
And, and also, Lowe's been there forever
Yeah.
as a manager.
But are they not sort of coming to the end? He's leaving after the tournament.
Yeah,
They're
but
winding
then
down.
you've got younger
They've not been
players
so
coming
good.
into the team that are still decent players, and I'd put them at least on the level of some of the younger players coming into the England setup.
Yeah.
Probably still got more experience than some of those players.
I would say if we played Germany 10 times, we'd probably lose 5 times, draw 3 times, win 2 times. I agree. They are probably better than us overall. But I think the way we've played this tournament, even though it's been boring, even though it's not been great to watch, is the best way to prepare for this sort of game. Where we've, there were times in the game against Czech Republic where we let them have the ball and, sat back and yes, we weren't particularly explosive on the counter-attack, but we didn't ever look like conceding. And I think that's a good trait to have. And I think the team that played in the 2018 World Cup, I know we never played Germany, but we played a really good Croatia side. As soon as we faced them, we looked, oh, shit. We don't know what to do when we ain't got the ball here. Yeah. I think this England team knows what to do when it hasn't got the ball much better than previous England teams.
Well, if it does, I'll be shocked.
Yeah.
Because I think that we've held onto the ball, and I think there's reasons for why we've held onto the ball, but it seems to me that this is a team that wants to be in possession. And I haven't seen... Here's the thing. I know teams want to keep their cards close to the chest, so you can't just ring anyone up ahead of a Euros and say, fancy a game. But you could have gone and tried and found some difficult games. Argentina, Brazil, they'd have come to Wembley or whatever for a friendly.
They've done in the past, Brazil.
That's a team where you go, listen, I know, Argentina especially, I know you're probably better than us in every position. And you've also got that little fella up front who's good. What's he called? Sergio Aguero, that's it. And I think you're probably going to beat us.
Yeah.
So let's practice this how to play on the counter. Because... I think you mentioned it the other day that they probably did it when they had like 40 players down at St George's Park. They probably did some sort of that scenario training, and I hope they did. If they didn't, what the fuck are they doing?
Yeah.
Honestly, what are they doing? Here's the thing, Joe. England, you know the start. You told it me. England face a top 5, top 6 world team, and we just lose.
Traditionally. But at some point that's got to break. And I think once every 50 years...
No.
Is a decent way to go about it. Why not?
Because we're going out, Joe.
No.
Tuesday, it's game over.
So let's look at it then. And I'm missing a few out here, but we played Portugal a couple of times, lost to them. We played Brazil, we've lost to them. We played Germany 3 or 4 times, we've lost to them every time. We've played... Who else have we lost to? That's about it in recent years, isn't it? Last time, Croatia, which was a good team. The thing is,
because the tournaments are every 4 years.
Yeah, there's not that many. So, but a handful of Germany teams, a couple of Portugal teams,
You're not
a Brazil
the
team.
World Cup preceding this one. Costa Rica, Uruguay.
Don't worry about that. What I'm saying is, at some point when
England
you face
are
one
a
of those
fucking
teams,
myth, Joe.
if at some point when you play one of those teams, you're going to beat them. And the longer it goes on without us beating a big team, the more chance we are to beat it the next time we play.
Well, that's like saying Joe Holland have produced some of the best players the world has ever seen. They'll win a World Cup eventually. Never won one.
Yeah, but eventually they will. And this is a good England team. This isn't a shit Holland team that we've seen over the last few years.
No, this is not a good England team.
It is a good England team.
That's a good England team.
Yeah, on the wall is the 5-1 team that beat Germany, who then lost to Brazil the year later. That is a good team, but it was managed by a decent manager.
Right, listen, we're getting nowhere. Why don't we call an expert? And I know an expert.
Go on then.
Dean from Squawka. What's happening, our kid?
How you doing, boys? Good to see you again.
Right, Dean, we need you to settle an argument. I think England are going to crash out of this thing with a bang. This weirdo thinks it's coming on.
I think we've got a chance. I think there's a chance we can beat them. Is that so wrong to think, Dean?
I think we've got a chance. I'd agree with that. I think, like the odds say, it's going to be a really tight game. I think this is by no means the best Germany side of the last 15, 20 years, but it might not be the best England side of the last 15, 20 years either. I think it's going to be really tight. I think England have kind of shown in their first 3 games already that they're going to try and keep things as tight as possible. They're not going to be particularly expansive. They're going to try and keep them low-scoring games. I mean, our last 5 games, I think, have been 4 1-0 wins and a goalless draw. So
We scored one more goal than
it's the
Scotland.
most exciting game. But have we got a chance? Yeah, of course we've got a chance. Of course we have.
Yeah, that's what we want to hear. Thank you, Dean. Thank you very much.
No!
Yes.
No! England face big teams in tournament football, especially in the knockout games, and then they go home. That's how it works.
Not anymore, though, Steve.
I mean, yes!
Rules are made to be broken. Have you heard of that phrase?
Yeah, but how often?
Occasionally. Once every 50 years will do me.
If England had it in them to park the bus, to play on the counter, I'd be right for it because that team is made for it. But they want to dominate the ball, but they also don't want to show their attacking prowess and really let the handbrake off. Gareth Southgate, instead of fully parking the bus and Jose Mourinho in way to a title, and instead of being the other way of just full Kevin Keegan, let's have it, and what a tactics kind of mode, he's sitting in this beige, boring, never going to achieve anything mode in the middle, which sees us lose 1-0 to Germany.
Absolutely not. No chance.
Guys, to be honest, I slightly disagree because I think the difference is the reason we've dominated the ball is because we're playing teams that don't want it themselves. I think Germany are a team that do dominate the ball. I was looking through the stats, the passing stats before, and I think 4 of their players are in the top 10 in the tournament so far for passes completed. So I think they're going to want to dominate the ball, and I think Southgate over the last 2 years has kind of been just preparing for this game, and we've seen it in qualifiers where you expect us to go out and be expressive, and he plays 2 holding midfielders, and you start to think, well, this isn't exactly what we want to see. But the proof will be in the pudding if we can get a result in this game. Like you say, Steve, we haven't beat a good team in a knockout for a long time. I think Colombia are probably the best team we've beaten in the last 20, 25 years in a knockout game. So I think if the proof's in the pudding. If we can go ahead and beat Germany, then it'll kind of be worth all those boring qualifiers where we've played the 2 holding midfielders. I don't think we'll try and dominate the ball against Germany because I think they have too much quality to do that. So I think it might be a case of playing on the counter like you said, and hopefully.
1966 was the last time we beat anyone of note in a knockout game.
I think Spain in 96.
No, don't give me that. 1, we didn't beat them, we drew with them. And 2, they were shit at the time. So it right. They're about as ranked as where Wales are now.
Well, it's slightly before my time, so but on paper you say Spain are always like one of the better sides. I know they weren't great at the time, but you are right though. It's been a long time since we've won a knockout game against a decent side, and Germany are one of those sides we always come up against as well, aren't they? I think it's 4 times they've knocked us out in the knockout stages since we beat them in the final in the World Cup in 1966. So obviously everyone knows they're a bogey team as well. They're always going to be one of the better teams, so we're always going to struggle against them. But this is a slightly different England and a slightly different Germany, I think.
Yeah, we're worse.
No, we're not worse.
But I will give you what you said earlier, though. if I win the Euro Millions, yeah, sound. If we beat Germany, the route to the final is straightforward.
So see.
I'm not saying easy because that's crazy.
Yeah.
But it's straightforward. It's you can win that, you can win that.
Yeah.
And then you're in a final, and then it's about bottle, and then theoretically England will lose in the final. But
don't worry about that.
You have got a straightforward route into a final.
After we beat Germany.
And then after we beat, let's say England do beat Germany, Dean, people are going to lose their shit, aren't they? The giddy factor is going to reach a new level. We're going to peak. This is going to be like Everest and keep going.
I think, that obviously will happen. I think if we'd beat Scotland, I think that would be happening already. I think the fact that we've drawn with Scotland is the only thing that's kind of slowing expectations down, because let's face it, we've topped the group and kept 3 clean sheets, and how often do England actually do that? We usually by this point we're already either out or downbeat. So,
it was boring.
I think
you got Jack Grealish and Jason Sanchez and managed to bore the piss out of everyone.
Well, I think the route to the final is easier on this side, definitely, but I wouldn't discount the Netherlands. I think they've been really good in the group stages. I think they've played 3 teams you would expect them to beat, but they're really exciting, and I think they might give our defence some things to worry about. But obviously, we've got to beat Germany first, and that's always going to be a struggle. I mentioned before about the record against them in knockouts, but also you play in Germany, you've got to mention penalties, haven't you? I think they beat us in 1990, they beat us in 96. Their record in penalty shootouts in major tournaments, they've won 6 out of 7. We've won 2 out of 8. So if it goes to penalties, then, it's a cliche, but you just forget about it.
So one of them was Spain, the other one must have been the Colombia game.
Yep.
The last World Cup.
Yep.
Wow.
Brilliant time.
Do you know, they do this wild thing called practice.
I think we've been doing that a bit.
Have we though?
I've heard rumour, yeah.
Okay. We didn't really talk about this earlier, but the other side of the tree, you've got your France, you've got your Belgium, you've got your Italy, you've even got Spain who, all right, they've shown up in the last game, I guess, but like you've got your winners, your Portugal.
Belgium, we said it?
I said Belgium.
Yeah.
You've got your winners. For me, the winners are coming from the left-hand side of that tree.
Probably, but you never know.
Dean?
Yeah, I agree. I think the stronger sides are definitely on that side of the draw. I don't think anyone can argue with that. Still, for me, France are the team I'm looking at. I know they've been held to 2 draws in the last 2 games, but there's just so much quality in that team, and it only takes a moment of magic from an Mbappe or a Griezmann, and they can win one of those tight games which Deschamps likes to create in the knockout stages. So, France for me is still the ones that I'm backing. I've backed them since the start of the tournament. I think I've backed them since last year, to be honest. So it's still France. There are other definite competitors, and they've got a tougher run to the final. I think that Belgium-Portugal game is going to be, for me, that's the standout tie of the round of 16. I know from an English point of view, you're always obviously looking forward to England versus Germany, but Belgium versus Portugal is so tough to call. Either way that could go, I think. Both teams like to get forward. Both teams have, again, those star players that can just create a moment out of nothing. I think what I've been impressed with Belgium in the group stage is all 3 results have been in different circumstances. That first game, they kind of eased past Russia. They had to come from behind against Denmark when things were going against them and the atmosphere was against them. And then they had to break down Finland in the last game after kind of a really difficult 70 minutes, kind of backs to the wall defending from the Finnish side. So I think Belgium have already shown that they can win games out of compromising situations. Portugal, but have had to play 2 of the best teams in the tournament already in Germany and France, and they've managed to get a point off France yesterday. So it won't be easy for either side, but for me that's definitely the standout. And I agree, the winner's going to come from that side, I think, because I think England and Germany are the 2 strongest teams on this side of the draw, but I can't see either of them going through and winning the tournament.
What do you make of Italy? Because I thought they were the most impressive in the group stages.
Yeah, I think Italy have been the most exciting team to watch for me. But again, I don't know how much about the teams they've played. I think Wales are always going to be difficult to beat, but by that point, they weren't really playing for much, Italy, and they made a lot of changes for that game. Turkey were probably the worst team in the group stages, to be honest, so I can't read too much into that. For the performance against Switzerland, you can't really take anything away from them for that. They were excellent in that game, and they have been excellent in all 3, and they've got a lot of kind of non-Italian sort of cliche things to say about them, haven't they? You always expect, in the past, you've always expected Italian teams to be kind of defensive, the catenaccio as they call it. But this is definitely a more exciting and attacking Italy team, and I think they'll beat Austria comfortably in the round of 16. Which by that point, if you've won 4 games with comfort and playing attacking football, then obviously people are going to get excited about them. For me, I just wonder whether they don't quite have the same ability across the full pitch that France do or Belgium do. But you say that about winning mentality. I don't think anyone can knock Italy for that when they've got Bonucci and Chiellini at the back. So when it comes to those games, they've got major experience in matches like that. So this is such an exciting tournament. I mean, I don't think it's been the best tournament ever so far, but I know there's been a lot of talk about, the weird format with teams going through, but I'm looking at the round of 16 now, and I'm really glad that there's another 8 games for us to enjoy, because I'm looking at all of them. I think there's going to be some really good games, and you can pick the winner from 4 or 5, can't you? Really?
Yeah. What I'm really enjoying about the Euros as well is, and also I'm enjoying some aspects of it, but also then it makes me think about, I wonder what the impact of this is. And that's, some of the stadiums are rammed, and some of them got 8 people in them.
Yeah. I don't know how that works, especially when you're playing at home in front of, what is it, England are going to be playing in front of 40,000, I think, on Tuesday?
Yeah, 60, I think, for the semi. But Germany 60. The other day in Munich had like 5 people there.
Yeah, and then in Hungary, in Baku,
Ramode. Yeah,
it's literally full. So, yeah, I don't think it's a surprise they did particularly well in their group. I know they went out, but they got points off teams that people didn't expect them to. They almost beat Germany. I think part of that's because they're playing in front of a home crowd and doing really well.
Right, Dino, where can everyone check out all of the coverage that they need to be doing for the Euros?
Oh, it's Squawka all day, isn't it, mate? I'm on the betting side of things, so I'll have you sorted for all your betting tips. I haven't given you one for England, so I'll give you one now. I reckon no on both teams to score under 2.5 goals. Like I say, I think it's going to be quite a tight game. So Squawka bet for all your betting tips, and obviously Squawka on the main site, you'll get everything you need, predictions, lineups, all the post-match reactions. Squawka's a place to be for the Euros, and every week, obviously, mate.
Well, yeah, definitely. Check them out. And Dino, thank you for joining us. The link for those is in the description, so go check it out. Remember, we're checking those out on match day as well for the previews and then for all the reaction afterwards as well. Dino, see you soon.
Cheers, guys. See you later.
That's enough football for now. Let's talk a little.
Let's
talk a little bit of F1. You like your F1? Are you trying to like F1?
I'm trying to like the F1. I didn't watch it this weekend.
Well, it was, in fact, it was a great race.
What happened?
Well, Max Verstappen got pole. Lewis Hamilton caught him. These are, by the way, number 1 and 2 in the rankings. So this is where the title is going to be won and lost.
Tom and Jerry.
Yeah. Then at the very end of the race, Verstappen re-overtook Hamilton, won it. He's now 12 points clear in the championship, which in F1...
Wait.
What?
They overtook?
Yeah, there's no overtaking. See, we messed up because we did the Monaco Grand Prix, where there's no overtaking. Some of these there is. That was in France. These are 1 and 2 and 12 points, like I said. In football, title's wrapped up. In F1, you get about 25 points for a win. So if someone has a bad race or someone doesn't finish a race and the other one finishes pole, this is considered a very tight race in F1. So what do you reckon? Do you like Lewis Hamilton's?
Can't take to him. And I've never met him.
Yeah.
I just can't take to him. Should probably stop reading the Daily Mail.
Coming up next, Styrian Grand Prix.
What?
The Styrian Grand Prix.
That sounds like...
I think it's in Styria.
King's Landing, sort of.
No, well, it's in Austria.
Right.
It does kind of sound like King's Landing, doesn't it? Head to Styria, where you'll find...
On your boat.
Yeah, set sail for Styria. Well, that's this weekend. It's a double header, you see.
You sure
Last weekend was France. He might be there.
Bastards!
Yeah. You overtaking bastard. I reckon he can be. Are you going to go?
No.
There was also news today, Stephen, that it's going to be a full house in the English Grand Prix at Silverstone. 140,000 people being allowed. That's like what they used to pack into Wembley for a friendly, isn't it?
140,000?
140,000, because people are allowed on the tracks and that.
Can we go? When is it?
That's the point, can we? It's in July. We should be able to.
We might be able to go.
That's going to be great. Do you like F1? Get into it.
I like fast shit.
Yeah.
But I like... The problem is, like a lot of sports, they're better in person.
It's exciting, isn't it?
When you feel the car, you literally feel a car going past you. On telly, you're just like... honestly, on telly, it might be one of the most boring watches out there. Watching 40, 50 laps of whatever. Oh my God. But in person, like I even got baseball in person. Yeah. I got it. I sat there, look at football, the game starts, the stands fill up, the concourse empties. Yeah. There's never anyone on a concourse from the whistle.
Till about 40 minutes when people go for a piss.
About 40 minutes, people will start going for a piss and then maybe get in the queue for a pint. Yeah. That sort of stuff. And then it's rammed at half time and then a couple of stragglers, but by and large, 47, 48 minutes, game's back on. The concourse is empty and then they shut the concessions in football. In baseball, we sat down, you did the look at the flag thing that they love in America. Then the game started. And no one really took the seat. No. It's just like people doing laps, getting garlic fries and hot dogs. Nachos. Disappointed with the hot dog, by the way.
Really? Was it not good?
I was thinking, this is about as American as it comes. I'm watching baseball, I'm getting an hot dog.
Some guy with that like sling around his neck with a big tray of hot dogs on it.
No, I didn't find them, but there was like kiosks. And I went to the kiosk, I was like, get me an hot dog. And it was like, what? A bit like Subway sort of thing. What options do you want? I was
everything.
Like, yeah, it gives everything. It gives that mustard, ketchup, the like onions. Sound. And it was like one of them rollover ones you get at a service station.
You're joking?
I was like, are you fucking... Probably not even as good.
Where was this?
San Francisco.
Do you think that's a good food city? They should know what they're doing.
It's a good ballpark as well. Great looking ballpark with a river or a lake or some sort of dock sort of...
Some sort of wet.
Some sort of wet behind it.
A little bit of wet.
Puddle. Well disappointed. But I understood it. I was like, this isn't about... Which I believe might be the thing with cricket.
Cricket's about the day.
And get smashed.
Cricket, football, you're not allowed to take anything in. If you've got a bottle of Coke, they take the lid off and give you the Coke back. Cricket, bring your cooler box, bring your hamper with your pasties and your sandwiches and your pints and that. Get them in. That's what it's all about. It's about being on holiday for a day rather than going to watch a bit of sport. Well, it's a bit of both, but you know what I mean. It's like going camping.
Maybe I might go and watch it. I guess, Joe, I haven't experienced cricket in real person either, so maybe I'm judging it like I've judged Formula One, like I judge baseball, and it just doesn't do it for me. Maybe I'm more of I have to be authentic and in the moment sort of thing with sport. Yeah. Because I'm not getting a certain amount of sports on telly. It just doesn't do it for me. But yeah, I was like, oh, this is about the drinking, and this is about going out with your mates, and like even I went and watched. Was in LA. We went and watched UCLA college football team. With about 75,000 other people watching college players, which is college is uni in it, but they're playing for free. Still $40 a ticket.
Yeah, and they make about £1 billion a year on the teams, and none of the players get any of the money.
Yeah, they go, well done, here's the shit degree.
Yeah.
Well
done. Here's a degree that doesn't count for anything, and 99% of you aren't making it to the big leagues anyway. So see you later. Yeah.
We got the lad that was there with us. He goes, "I'll pick you up at 6." Like, what in the fucking morning? What are you talking about? The game kicks off about 1:30 or something, 2 o'clock maybe. Picked us up at 6. We go down to the side of the Rose Bowl, which I was buzzing about because it's like, I've heard of this.
Yeah, that's cool.
And it's tailgate time, and basically it's just like mass barbecuing. Everyone wearing blue and yellow.
That's great. Isn't it?
Mass barbecuing. People throwing a football around. They're playing cornhole, right? Which is where you throw a beanbag. Throw a hole in a bit of wood.
There are blokes laid underneath.
Cannot confirm or deny. But that was a game that they were playing.
Yeah.
While just getting smash-ettoed. And I was like, lovely. This is a good... they only have like 5 home games a year. Yeah. So you can eventize every single home game that you have. When you got like 30 home games like you do at Old Trafford, you get 2 minutes after kickoff and you're fucking gone again, isn't it? Like, that's just... I can't devote 6 hours... When we went into the ground, I was... When you go... It's lie down time for Stevie. Yeah. I am drunk. Yeah. Like I am proper
I'm
drunk.
Bladdered here.
Yeah, and then I got sunburnt because it was LA and it was fucking double up.
You didn't put any sun cream on?
No.
You just put mustard on, didn't you, thinking of sun cream?
You know drugs.
You ended up smelling like whibs.
I think a lot of sport is about that extra shit. It's not necessarily just about that.
Well, also, according to this here, and I'm not the biggest F1 connoisseur, this is 2 back-to-back Grand Prix at the same track, the Red Bull Ring in Austria. So you could get a hotel for 2 weeks and make a great holiday out of this. That would be good, wouldn't it? In terms of tailgating, your holiday, Just be in Austria for 2 weeks, go to 2 different Grand Prix.
Have
Just
you
get
done that for
shit-faced.
COVID?
I think it's a COVID travel thing, yeah. It was a shortened season last season. I'm not sure if it is this year, but they're having 2 back-to-backs there. So last year, Mercedes won both of them. So you'd think whoever wins this one is going to have a massive advantage into the second one.
I'm going to look into what the script with Silverstone. Because there's been no events, though, I can just imagine, like, anything that comes up, sold out.
Yeah, probably.
Just because no one's done anything for 18 months.
Yeah, and F1 people who follow F1 usually aren't short of a few quid. So even if it's 400 quid a ticket, they'll have sold out.
Which it is.
Yeah, it's mental.
I mean, me and you just been a couple of dickheads in the woods somewhere.
We could probably hire a crane nearby and get some binoculars for about 150.
Binoculars?
Yeah, get it done. Telescope.
They must have cheap tickets.
Yeah,
there must
surely.
be cheap tickets. And where am I? Just go and stand in the wood. It's a 4-mile walk to get there, and you're like...
Right, okay. And it's 180 still for the ticket. Well, that's the cheapest we do. Thank you. Cheers. Could be fun.
Do we see anything? Not unless someone crashes.
You can hear something. You can definitely hear some of it.
Oh, we'll look into it. Because we were meant to be doing clay pigeon shooting today.
What happened? You bottled it because you got shit scared because you saw my KD on Call of Duty and you thought, he's probably going to be pretty good at this. No. None of this real life war stuff that you've been up to. I've been grinding out in Verdansk, big boy.
Do you want the truth or do you want that?
I like that, but I wouldn't mind hearing the truth as well.
We had Gareth Lineker come round. We had to shoot with Gary
We had to shoot Gary Lineker instead. Dodged it, bastard.
Cheese and onion, pull! So Gary Lineker come round. We had to cancel all the shoots that we were doing yesterday, which included going clay pigeon shooting. And we are, I believe, still on for next week, though.
Better be. Steve versus Joe, what we got?
I think next week's fencing. There's 2 to do. There's axe throwing and fencing, and I don't know which way around they are.
See, in your head, you're thinking, sword fighting. Actually, Steve wants his garden done. It's whoever can put up the most panels of fencing in an hour and a half.
White picket fencing and paint.
This feels like exploiting, doesn't it? You just want me to put up your garden fence. Time it.
My back gate is broken.
I've heard that. By anything to do with the smell in that room, I believe it.
Yeah, my back gate is broken. You're going to think that's a euphemism, or that the Amazon guy just fucking yanked it because he couldn't figure out how to do the little clicky lock thing.
It still all feels like a euphemism. Whatever that Amazon guy did to your back gate, he yanked it right open. That's up to you, Steve.
Blew the fucking hinges off it, that bastard. Right.
That's a good way to end this, Eddie. You're leaking onto the chair a little bit.
That was the fixture list for another week. We are delayed in getting the Stevie Joe. Well, fuck me, it's got to be next week, hasn't it?
Yeah,
These Euros haven't helped. It's going to be the day after England, Germany as well.
Well, I'm going to be absolutely shit-faced still. That'll be fun. Are you allowed to fence on a few pints? You can't drink and drive, but can you fence and drink and drive?
It's probably not been an issue enough for people to make it
There's
a
no
law.
rule on it.
Yeah.
Perfect.
One of those grey areas. Anyway, cheers for tuning in. Make sure to check out Squawka for all of your Euros coverage. And, of course, if transfers start happening, it sounds like that Jason Sanchez fella might be moving.
It's on the way.
Who knows where, though. And everything that you need from Squawka's on there. Check the link out in the description. Cheers for tuning in, as always. Make sure to subscribe. If you've not seen it, I did a podcast with Ronaldo yesterday, which he started talking about him seeing a UFO within, 2 minutes?
2 minutes.
Fucking carnage. So go check that out. And we need names for that as well. So cheers for tuning in. Go follow Joe. And we'll see you in the next one. Later.